not a partner.
I mean, people
You're
flip cars when their teams win. When the Lakers used to win championships.
And they tear up the city?
And tear up the city, yes.
Burn it down. Burn it!
You hear about people stabbing folks in Dodger Stadium for wearing the wrong team.
I think that's just laziness, because it comes out of the looting and pillaging of victory. But people just got too tired to go to the cities that they defeated. It's like, fuck it, let's just...
Are there lazy murderers? There might be.
They get caught, so maybe if they cleaned up a little more,
but the
I'm
point
not here to tell people how to get away with murder.
Yeah.
That's another show altogether.
But the point is, though, we watch games, and this is across the whole country because it's football, too. I can just imagine some listener being like, yeah, them, brown people flipping cars because it's basketball. But no. You guys know you do this in football, too.
Right.
It happens more.
All sports.
It happens more in white
even
towns.
soccer.
Yeah.
That we're just so used to butting heads. And I think there's this appeal with, Republicans being like, this is our team. Democrats, that's your team. You guys suck, and you guys are losers. And then they cut off all rationality, and it's just us versus them, and it doesn't, even if they're harming themselves. It's
think
us
about it.
versus
As crazy as it was, OJ divided our country. OJ divided this country like you. I had friends that wouldn't even talk. So you think he's innocent? You think he's innocent? I don't give a shit. Come on, bro. You gotta be. No, I don't. Sorry, I have a life. I'm sorry. What would you rather be doing? I'd rather have a shot of tequila right now. Thank you. I don't want to talk about OJ.
Can we talk about the Carl's Jr. thing again?
Sure.
I think that's really interesting because I was reading a couple articles about this because we always talk about how horrible millennials are, right? But the truth is, well, I don't know. I think there's a lot of I don't know how I feel about it. I'm not really one. I don't like to shit on millennials. I don't think it's fair. But also, I think what's interesting is that sex isn't selling like it used to. So it was kind of our generation, Generation X, that really kind of made a negative use of sexuality. You know what I mean? Misuse sexuality. But this younger generation, you can't sell sex to them the way that you used to.
Well, but define misuse. Because Bill Hicks had the great bit, talking about how the TV ads are eventually going to get to a point where the camera is just slowly panning up the body of a naked woman, and it gets up to her face and she says, "Drink Coke." And that's it.
Well, I would say misuse is when they show something that's supposed to be female sexuality, but the woman has no control over it. So it's not a woman expressing sexuality, which is fine. It's any sexuality of women being represented in a way that it's to make straight cis men feel powerful over her. Not even connected, not even attracted, but powerful over her. So I think that's a misuse of the way, commodifying sexuality as opposed to it being a human experience. So I think to me, I would say misuse. Majority of the images you see of female sexuality in our media is not about the women at all. So I think that's.
What is it about?
It's about making her
the man.
It's about the male gaze. It's about
male gaze.
What does a man want to look
at? And the straight males also.
Yeah. And there's a difference between appreciating or being attracted to someone and male gaze, right?
Yes.
The gaze is when that person's an object to you.
Right.
Yeah, I feel like what would a Carl's Jr. commercial look like if it was empowering a woman? Would it just be an attractive woman and she's just like, I would like a burger and I'm going to pay for it with a paycheck I earned.
Now
that would be.
She evidently doesn't work at Carl's Jr. You know that.
Or it could even be a woman playing stupid dudes for burgers. That's another story you never really see unless the woman is the villain in it. But, so it could be either one. But
how come you don't see a couple eating, a gorgeous couple, both feeding each other burgers?
Yeah.
That's how you know it's for the male gaze. Or not to be heteronormative. I'm sorry. It could be any couple. Actually, let's just have 6 people, different couples of different. I don't know. I'm a millennial, and I'm trying really hard to stay true.
Well, they also the flip side is a lot of guys believe that the feminist is trying to make the man weak.
Mm-hmm.
They said that they're trying to put together that they said what happened to the male mystique, what happened to him being the strong male. Now do we have to? You're saying that.
Well, the thing is,
I'm just saying that has come out. I've heard it.
I don't think it's such a fine line, but there is a line between being chivalrous and being a doormat.
Right.
Yeah. Chivalry is nothing. It's not.
But it's it's one of those things. I don't expect a medal for it, but it's how I was raised. You open the door for a woman.
It's not going to liberate.
Yeah, I don't sit around reading things online thinking it makes me a better person. But it just I think not doing things that are deemed chivalrous would make me a worse person.
Yeah,
Right.
I think there's a line. It's a very fine line between being like a good dude and a like good strong person with integrity, and then being like a really annoying part of the patriarchy.
Yeah.
And the
Right.
line is when you start like giving me permission to do things that I never asked permission for. Like last night, or explaining things
something
that I
like
never asked you for help for.
Right.
For help with.
But did
like,
you know that's the male mystique, that men like to help, and women
tell you,
try to get
when
men
The
to
other
stop.
day, a guy decided that he was going to guide me. You know when men want to help you park your car?
Right.
This guy gets all in the way, wastes a shit ton of my time trying to help me park my car. But I wasn't even parallel parking. I was pulling into a spot in a parking lot. Guys. And this fucking guy stood in front of my car, wasting my time, telling me, no, look, move. I'm going to run you over. Like, I
Right.
usually try to be so patient because I'm like, I don't
Right.
know where this person's coming from. They're not worth it. But I rolled down my window and I said, I'm going to run you over. And then he moved because I was like, I don't have time.
Well,
I need
because
to run
everyone
into
knows
Now-
chicks can't
now,
drive.
Yeah, right.
wait a
I
minute.
kept pulling a car into a spot in a parking lot, guys. In a parking lot.
You know what? I will admit to using the whole sexual politic to my advantage. Back when I was living in Chicago, had a couple friends who were staying with me from out of town. There was a huge blizzard the night they came in. That they're like, should we be worried about this because we're going to leave tomorrow? It'll be fine. Well, like 12 hours and a foot and a half of snow later, the next morning, they're looking at me. We're looking out my window at their car that's buried in snow. And Jim and Marcy was the couple's name, and Marcy's looking at us, and she's like, well, I guess you guys have some digging to do. I said, actually, work with me on this, but no, Marcy, I need you to like put on your winter clothes, grab the shovel, and go. She's like, I'm not digging the car out. I go, I know, you're not, but take the shovel and go outside, and just one scoop of snow. She's like, all right, whatever. And so she gets all bundled up, and Jim and I are sitting up in the living room looking out the window. Marcy goes outside. The shovel barely goes into the snow, and two dudes show up. Like, can we help you out? And she's
I will
like,
tell you the truth. I've never dug my
sure.
own car out of its
And,
snow.
and Jim is just looking at me like, I felt like I was in a beer commercial. He's like, you're
my
a genius.
God.
And as soon as the car was almost dug all the way out, I'm like, hey, Jim, we got to get our shit on. And we, boots, coats, and we went outside and like, oh, hey, great, thanks, guys. And they got the meanest looks from us. But sort of wrapping all this up into, with people wanting to be on the winning team, ultimately, I think if to use the original Karate Kid as a metaphor, because I didn't even bother seeing the remake, but if we are resigned to the fact that America is going to be the Cobra Kai dojo, do we really want to be that one guy screaming, send a woman a body bag? Or do we want to approach things rationally and realize, hey, maybe we're the bad guys?
Well, I mean, if you
think
think about it, they did put out the happiest country, and Denmark was at the top.
Well,
And
because
people-
they created the Danish.
Yeah, well, and they,
How can you
because-
make an
and they said,
awesome
well,
pastry and
all
not
they
be
eat.
happy?
Yeah, and they're interviewing the people, and America's number 13, and they're interviewing the people, and they said, you guys don't pay for health care? Nope. Said, how about school? Nope. School is free.
Can you imagine having the freedom to get a cold? Living like that?
And they said, women get a year off for pregnancy.
Oh my God, so
Yeah.
awesome.
Now, mind you, in their taxes, they do pay 60%.
Yeah, but
And
they get
there
so much
is
more
no,
back.
Wait a minute. And also, there is no, they don't preach competition. If you live in our capitalistic society, we preach competition. We want it. That's why you have all these different battles and everything. And so if you talk to that redneck who's going to tell you, we don't want no socialism, we don't want da-da-da. Oh, really? Okay, but you're wondering why those people come from their country, highly educated, come to the United States and kick our butt.
Yeah.
They can lose a job, go back to school, get another education, boom, come over here and wear us out. Whereas we are sitting back, and I've said it's.
But we're bringing coal jobs back.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Yeah, good old Melvin Fingal. He said, what is that thing? What do they call that? Black dust?
Black lung disease.
Black lung disease? Oh, my God. Have you ever seen a guy on that? He can't talk.
Well, so these are the jobs that we're actually bringing back are in cancer research and curing the diseases that affect coal miners.
You guys couldn't see his face, but it was great.
No,
For the listeners.
But I read a thing this week that there are more people employed by Arby's than in the entire coal industry.
That's insane.
Right.
Oh my gosh.
And personally, when was the last time anyone here ate at Arby's?
Never.
No.
I've
Wait a
never, not even
Props,
once.
props to they got these great Jamocha shakes that are amazing. The horsey sauce, if there was only like good sandwich to put it on. But and there goes the Arby's sponsorship deal.
Wait a minute. And the bad part is that they had this they did this thing on Facebook, and the guy says, the Mexicans don't want our jobs. Who wants to come? What Mexican do you see taking a coal miner's job? None. Okay, so why are you talking about this? You guys need to stop this lie. This is a white dude telling them this. Stop this lie. They are not coming over taking your work. Whereas the Mexicans wanting to work in a coal mine? They're not stupid. They don't want to work on a damn coal mine.
What's ridiculous is that a lot of the jobs that they have to take are ones that are really unregulated and horrible, and like sweatshops making American apparel. I don't know.
Well, no, like going back to talking about Chicago again.
They are paying taxes.
But I used to for a summer I worked at a hot dog place in Chicago, and pretty much every hot dog place in Chicago. And again, this is going to sound like another racist Chicago stereotype, but your basic Chicago hot dog place, I would say 90% of the time, the owners are Greek, the guys working the line in the kitchen are Mexican, and the people working the counter are white.
Yeah,
that's
funny.
Well, who's making your sushi right now? You're one of the best sushi chefs?
Mexicans.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to sit there, hey, Mexican. No, I go in to eat sushi. I don't care. Put my sushi down. If it's good, I don't care who's making it.
I feel like if you're not a good enough sushi maker to get a job and the Mexican that's because you are not a good sushi maker. It's not because the Mexican came and took it.
Here she is.
Get better at it.
And that's in general, when people get angry with immigrants in general for like taking a job or whatever, it's like, just be more competitive.
Yeah.
Learn your skills. My sister works in IT. She worked in IT, and she said there was a huge issue where people think Indians are taking over the IT industry, which isn't true. It's like 11% of the IT industry is Indian. So this whole hysteria of South Asians taking the IT jobs already is not even real.
Well,
but she said that her coworkers would get very angry when she would get all these promotions. She'd always be moving up, getting promotions, and she got to a point where her agency, that she had such a broad skill set that they couldn't fire her.
Right.
And people would get mad, like, it's because you're foreign, And she's like, but I'm not, I'm American. I don't. And it's easier to work with as an American citizen than with the H-1 visa or whatever.
Right.
So you guys don't know what you're talking about. And she was just like, I was just the best, but people wouldn't. It was so hard for people. But if you grow up, you have to be better. You have to work 5 times as hard, 10 times as hard. So we're trained to do that from childhood.
With that H-1 visa.
And now with the American citizens, you guys also, now you have the competition we've had to live with.
The H-1 visa,
training
60
yourself,
Minutes just did an article on the H-1 visa, and they were talking about how they had to. The bad thing is, you're bringing in a foreigner, and you're making me train that person to take my job. That was the part
that happened.
They were doing it.
I'm not going to say the name of the company, but a large conglomerate based here in LA with theme parks around the world, many hit movies. Their TV properties are also big, but they got in a lot of trouble for doing exactly that. So. Whereas I do agree that there is the misperception about East Indians taking over the IT industry.
But I'm going to say this though. I'm sorry. I just have to say this about that visa thing. Also, that I think that narrative is also unfair because in general, American companies, it's cheaper for them still to hire an American than to sponsor somebody for a visa.
Well, what I was going to say,
we need to produce more Americans who are willing to do.
What I was going to say with the visa, there was the guy who created the law, and he says, "Wait a minute. There's a loophole." And within that loophole, they were able to cut out what they were supposed to do. You had to make sure you hired American workers. You could not have the foreign worker come in and misplace them.
Yeah.
what they did, the different corporations found that loophole with their attorneys and were having the foreigners come in, you train them, they took your job, and the American was gone. They weren't supposed to do it that way, and they were doing it. It's not blaming, and so they talked to people from India, and the people from India said, no. Go over and blame your American corporations.
Blame
Set that up.
Why are you blaming
They're the bad
immigrants?
guys.